Huh, kick-ass. His name should be Ass Kicked. Ha ha! Wow, I was going for Nicolas Cage, but that came out more as Mickey Mouse. Wow. Ha! Kick-Ass, released in 2010, and is directed by Matthew Vaughn, who's directed such films like Stardust, X-Men First Class, and all of the Kingsman films. And this film is starring Aaron Johnson, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Mark Strong, Chloe Grace Moretz, Nicolas Cage, and Evan Peters. Yes, before Evan Peters and Aaron Johnson were both separate Quicksilvers, they were in this movie together. I wonder if they FaceTime each other and talk about that. Ever. Hey man, yeah, my Quicksilver character was killed in Avengers. What about yours? Studio buyouts, man. What am I gonna tell you? You know, got American Horror Story, so that's cool at least. Nah. Dave Lazinski is an ordinary teenager living in New York City who loves superheroes. But he's always asked the question why no one in real life has done the whole superhero comic book thing. So one day he finally gets the courage to buy a wetsuit and prowl around town saving kitties from trees and saving people from being mugged on the street. But the social media following of his new superhero identity known as Kick-Ass becomes so popular that now he is in the eye of actual superhero crime-fighting duo Big Daddy and Hit Girl. And I remember when this film came out, a lot of people were confused as to what this was. Is this a parody on superheroes? Is this actually a superhero movie? It kind of goes back and forth and crosses the line several times throughout this entire thing. At points you go, oh no, this is like a legit story and this is a legit character who's trying to do the whole superhero thing. But then there are points, particularly whenever Nicolas Cage is on screen, where we go, no, this is a parody of like a Batman wannabe type character. Right? And I think that all attributes to just how wacky and crazy and how just god-awful and god-wonderful Nicolas Cage is. A man's a national treasure. I don't care what you say about any of his film or his acting ability. Whenever he's on screen, a smile comes over my face. And I feel like his interpretation of Big Daddy in this film is what he wanted to do with the role of Clark Kent in that Tim Burton Superman film that never saw the light of day called Superman Lives. I know they wanted to make his interpretation of the character of Clark Kent very, very nerdy and very, very introverted, very awkward, almost making complete fun of the whole human race, society, culture thing. And if any of you want to learn more about that film that never saw the light of day, there's a great documentary out there by John Schnepp, who passed away a couple of years ago just after making this thing. I want to say like maybe a year and a half after releasing his documentary of just doing so much research on that whole thing, the reason why it came to be, and how it came so close to actually being shooting, and then it just was completely canceled by the studio. The documentary is called The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, again by John Schnepp. I'm sure a lot of people in the film community, the YouTube film community, know who that is and just how great of a guy he was. So any support that you can throw, you know, his way to his family, that would be great. And it's actually a really, really well done documentary. So I get the feeling that this is the Clark Kentish character that we never got to see in that movie. I'm pretty sure he just had, you know, just quirky things in mind, and he showed up on set and started doing them, and Matthew Vaughn was just like, yeah, sure. Why not? His speech pattern as Big Daddy is very William Shatner-esque, and whenever he's talking to Hit Girl outside of their costumes, he's all like 1940s, 1950s, go-gooderish dad, all swell. Oh, baby doll, you threw me for such a loop. But then we also get this very dark and disturbed character whenever he's talking to his former cop partner. And now that I'm actually talking it through, it's actually a pretty layered character. We have the mask of Big Daddy, we have the mask of what he puts on when he's talking to his adopted daughter, we have the actual Big Daddy character, we have the Big Daddy character who talks to the cop. It's son of a bitch, it's actually a layered character.
You're gonna be fine, baby doll.
Well, good on him. He manages to kind of make fun of very serious situations and make very fun situations very serious. So yeah, he's one of the treasures of this movie. And I think the other treasure of this movie is the whole concept and idea. I feel like we've seen this concept before, though, where we see, you know, a nerdy character, say, in high school, or just someone who's very introverted, doesn't go, you know, outward a lot with people, but very obsessed with superheroes and just questions, why don't we actually have superheroes in real life? Wouldn't they just make everything so much better? If they were real, I wouldn't be beat up at school. If they were real, I wouldn't be mugged on my way home from the comic book store. Until eventually they finally get the character to take up the mantle themselves. I feel like I've seen it before, and now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of any specific examples of that. But I feel like it's a trope in the whole superhero genre. But I like how they really stick with the realistic aspects of this character of Dave. Heck, all of these characters who become superhero, they don't have superhero abilities. They don't, leap tall buildings in a single bound. They don't shoot lasers from their eyes. They're all just regular people. Some of them have more skills and have more training than others, but they're all just regular people that put on a mask. And I like that a lot. It grounds this movie a lot to where this is the everyman. This is someone that we can relate to very, very easily. And we get a lot of great references to former comic book films like Batman '89 or Superman the movie. And actually the musical score that we get here is very reminiscent of the John Williams score for Superman and the Danny Elfman score of Batman. Whenever there are very heroic moments, we get these, these trumpets, and it sounds very, very bright and very superhero-esque. Very much like John Williams with Superman. Or when things are not going so well, when the screen is very dark, and we get a lot of people being killed or being shot at, or our heroes are not doing so well, it gets very dark and very gothic, like the '89 Batman score. And I'm fairly certain that they wanted to use the John Williams Superman theme for the opening scene of this movie, where there's that random guy who's standing on top of the building, and there's this slow pan up, and we get this inspirational speech from Aaron Johnson, and he jumps, and he's gonna fly, but he doesn't. He crash lands on a taxi and kills himself. They didn't use it, but I know leading up to the original release, they were using the John Williams Superman score for that scene until it just completely died out when he landed on the taxi. I think that would have been so much better if they were able to get the rights to that, but I'm sure it was a rights thing or a money thing, so unfortunately we didn't get it. But we got something close. And if any of you are familiar with other Matthew Vaughn comic book adaptations like the Kingsman movies, you know that he is an excellent shooter of violence. And we get a lot of that here. A lot, actually, coming from Chloe Grace Moretz's character, Hit Girl, with a lot of potty-mouth foul language, which I'm sure drove so many parents insane when they heard that, oh, this 12-year-old girl is saying all these terrible, disgusting things. Children shouldn't be hearing that on screen, even though they're using that language already. You just don't know it. I think it made Grace Moretz into a star, because she's a badass. She's Hit Girl, but she's a badass in this movie. And we have Mark Strong, who's the gangsta. He's the mob dealer, the drug dealer. Is he not a villain in anything? Well, I guess he's not a villain in Kingsman, but that guy just knows how to play villain, and he is exceptionally great. He's exceptionally great in everything that he does, but he's great in here too. This movie is a ton of fun. If you love superheroes, if you love comic books, if you love the superhero genre, I think this is a must-see for anyone like that. And if you're not familiar with the superhero genre, if you're not into superheroes, I still think that this would be a good time for you, because it kind of eases you into the whole superhero genre. It takes a lot of the tropes that you see in superhero films, it makes fun of it, it calls it out, and sometimes it reenacts it, sometimes it gives it a slight little twist to it. I just think this movie is such a great time. I love this thing. If anything, it's the whole line between, is this parody or is this, a serious comedy superhero film? I don't know, it's tossed between. Of course, that's all attributed to Nicolas Cage. But I still think this is a great time. It's a great movie. I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to give Kick-Ass 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos, where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next. So let's take a look. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It's complicated?
It's complicated.
It's complicated?
It's complicated.
Thank you, Mandarin, for telling us it's complicated.
Hey, it's complicated.
Yes, I know. It's Complicated, starring Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin, and Steve Martin. I remember watching this when the DVD was like really, really cheap at whatever store I purchased it at, and I remember thinking that this was a really good romantic comedy. It's Meryl Streep, so it's not going to be bad in any way, because Meryl Streep is amazing. If the film is bad, she's going to be incredible in it. I don't think she's ever not incredible, and that's like the stereotypical thing that you say, of course, about Meryl Streep, but that's who she is as an actress. She's wonderful. She's amazing. And I'm always a big fan of Steve Martin, so whenever he's on screen, a smile just comes on my face. So I'm excited to check this one out. I haven't watched it in so long. So we'll check that one out next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, leave a recommendation below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there. If I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. I'm taking a little break from taking regular recommendations right now, but we will eventually get back to that, probably in about a month and a half or so. If any of you really want me to do your recommendation right away, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Leave your movie with your donation, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and expedite it to the front of the line and get it done as soon as possible. So guys, have you seen Kick-Ass? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of It's Complicated. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.